candles are burning low. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. Hanukkah, oh Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather around the table, we'll give you a treat. So people need to play with and lots of sweets. And while we are playing.
Chag Sameach, friends, and welcome to night 2 of Hanukkah. Last night we talked about the first step to finding meaning in life, and we said that the first step is to become God aware, meaning to become aware of the sovereignty of God. Life is uncertain, and we have to understand that if we are to find fulfillment in this life, we have to recognize that God is sovereign, that times and seasons are in God's hands, and we have no control over some of the things that will happen in this life. Tonight we're going to talk about step number 2, and that is becoming self-aware. So we're going to go right into Ecclesiastes chapter 2, and we're going to read from verse 1. It says over there, I said to myself, come now, I will test you with pleasure to find out what is good. But that also proved to be meaningless. Laughter, I said, is madness. And what does pleasure accomplish? I tried cheering myself with wine and embracing folly. My mind is still guiding me with wisdom. I wanted to see what was good for people to do under the heavens during the few days of their lives. I undertook great projects. I built houses for myself and planted vineyards. I made gardens and parks and planted all kinds of fruit trees in them. I made reservoirs of water groves of flourishing trees. I bought male and female slaves and had other slaves who were born in my house. I also owned more herds and flocks than anyone in Jerusalem before me. I amassed silver and gold for myself and the treasure of kings and provinces. I acquired male and female singers and a harem as well, the delights of a man's heart. I became greater by far than anyone in Jerusalem before me. In all this, my wisdom stayed with me. I denied myself nothing my hands desired. I refused my heart no pleasure. My heart took delight in all my labor, and this was the reward for all my toil. Yet, when I surveyed all that my hands had done and what I had toiled to achieve, everything was meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Nothing was gained under the sun. Now we know that Solomon was not only rich. Solomon was a wealthy man. He had riches, he had honor, he had an awesome, successful kingdom. He had the respect of all the other nations. The scriptures tell us that during Solomon's reign there was peace. Solomon had so many kingdoms, other peoples who would pay him tribute. People would travel from all over the world to come and sit at his feet and to learn of him. The passage tells us that he also undertook many projects. He built houses for himself. He planted vineyards. Everything that his heart desired, he had, right? But at the end of it all, verse 11, he says, yet when I surveyed all that my hands had done and all that I had worked to accomplish, I realized that everything was meaningless and a striving after the wind. It was a breath. It was hevel. It's also interesting to note that after Solomon achieved all these material things, it says that he went in search of wisdom. He went in search of what we would call in our modern day language academic pursuits. And even at the end of that, his words were, all of this was meaningless, all of this was a breath, all of this was hevel. So what are we to understand from what Solomon is saying here? He's saying that a meaningful and fulfilling life is not about the things that we possess. So many people spend their lives chasing after stuff, And at the end of the day, they come to the realization that even though they have acquired a lot, they still have this emptiness on the inside of them. So since we have established that meaning is not found in the things that we possess, even Yeshua said it in Luke chapter 12, verse 15. He says, life is not measured by the things that we possess. So since we know that life is not measured and meaning is not found in the things that we possess, how do we then find meaning? We have to understand that meaning is based not on what, but on who. Meaning is based on the who and not the what. So, as I was looking at this particular step, something came to me, and it goes like this. Meaning and identity is not found in material possessions. It's found in who we are aligned to and who we are aligned with. What do I mean? There are many things that shape our identity. One of the first steps to meaning is to understand who we are. Because if we base our identity and our worth on the things that we possess, there is a danger of losing ourselves if we lose our possessions. So we have to find meaning in who, in the who, and not in the what. We have to first understand who we are, right? And we know that our identity as believers is in God. This is what the scriptures tell us. The scriptures tell us that our identity is in God through Messiah. Right? So we have to move that understanding from the head to the heart. We have to begin to understand that who we are is who God says that we are, and not in the things that we possess. The next thing is that we have to understand who we have been called to serve. We've been called to serve God, and we've been called to serve other people as the extension of God's hands and feet in the earth realm. And so the moment we begin to understand who we are and who we have been called to serve, we will begin to find that life has meaning and that we can find fulfillment. Not in the things that we possess, because those can go at any time. The book of Ecclesiastes is telling us that life is not only short, but life is uncertain. So we cannot allow ourselves and our identity to become so wrapped up in what we have achieved, in what we possess, in our accomplishments, because certain things we can lose them in a breath. So we have to find meaning that is above and beyond material possessions. When we become aware of who we are and our identity in God, and the fact that we have been called to be God's hands and feet extended in the earth, then our lives will take on a different level of meaning and fulfillment. Thank you so much for joining us on this second night of Hanukkah. And until we meet again, Chag Sameach.
Hanukkah, oh Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather around the table, we'll give you a treat. Said we will need to play with the light as we. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago.